All right. What's up, everybody? This is Jake Monster J. My garage is a disaster, but we are going to try to finish up all the soldering, electronics, and everything else in this build. So I've got her laid out. We are going to kind of lay everything out. I just want to see where we're at, what kind of room I'm looking at. I made a couple of little bay covers, which you can do too. Fairly simple. And again, I understand everything's backwards, but so I made these little covers, and all they are is the extra foam, and I just kind of trimmed them up and made them clean. But they'll kind of add to protect a little bit over here, the pieces there. And then my plan is just take a piece of clear tape and go over the top of that. It'll stick to this laminate really well. So we'll go over that, and then that'll kind of protect that a little bit. I am planning on running a 4S 1500 battery in here. So, as you can tell, plenty of room in there for that, and going that route. So, what we're going to do is, so I've got kind of an idea of what I want to lay out here. I'm probably going to leave this exposed on the top, and then like recess the actual antenna mount into the foam here. So that piece is going to go there. I've got my parts here. I've got the LC filter, receiver, 5-volt step down, 3-amp step down. This is the ESC that I'm going to run. It's an HDLRC BL Heli 30-amp ESC. I'm thinking of just going to run it somewhere in this area. One of the tricks is, when you do this, you want this to be as relaxed as possible. So this wire might stick up, and then I might cut this down and then drop this in and hot glue it in. Hot glue this down so that it's all there, and then air can flow over the top of that and really take it there. But so, and then we want to have the power, my leads. Check out the length of the this one. I think I used this motor before and put it away or something. I'm not sure, but it seems good to go. But you kind of eyeball where it's at, how it's going to sit. It might go somewhere in there. Power leads off of that. So yeah, without further ado, I'm just going to kind of start digging into it and start soldering away. So I've got that kind of laid out. I've got kind of an idea. I want to run the power wire off of there. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to solder it up to the XT60. What I'm using is some 14 gauge flexible silicone wire. So, and you want, I usually cut my, well, here I've already got a positive off. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you guys a little trick that I'm going to do here to kind of help ease with the build process. But yeah, it's going to still give me plenty of room. So I'm going to cut a black negative the same length as this red positive. So I've got the same length there. And what I'm going to do is here towards the center, I'm going to have a little bit of a lead. So I've just kind of trimmed that back here, and then I'm going to trim this side back just down to the metal there. Make sure you got a good cut on it. That'll work. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the positive. So I want to put them about in the same spot. This is just something that I just thought of doing, which should help with the connecting. So I can kind of get this out of the way here for a little bit. what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my razor blade, and I'm just going to trim this guy right down the middle. Very, very carefully. And then split this piece off. So then I've got an exposed section there. Same thing on this guy. And what that's going to do is that's going to allow me, what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to bend this over, and then I want to have enough. So I might need to bend it, I might need to take a little bit more off of here. So I'm going to grab a little bit more. What I want to do is I want to end up having a fold over section and then the positive and negative lead coming out. What I'm doing with that is that's going to allow me to connect my other voltage sources to here. So again, same thing. So now I've got a little bit. Try not to cut myself on video. So now should be able to, yeah. So now I've got a little section there that I can start putting some of this stuff away here. Try to clean it off so I can get to work. So again, you guys saw how I did that. And what I'm basically going to do is this is going to get soldered directly onto there, so that I've got it embedded. I've got two power leads coming off of there. I want to make sure that I position it to where I can handle both of them. So, you know, it could be probably something in that nature. That way I can connect directly to that. Same thing here. It's okay to have a little bit. Put them wires down in there. Like I said, this is just something I thought of, which should work great. Again, I'm going to pop it in there. I just want to make sure. So I might need to use a little bit bigger heat shrink. You can pick a lot of this stuff up. Yeah, that'll probably work a little bit better. Look there, I've already got a couple pieces cut. We're probably going to be going back to this and soldering up a few other things. So I've got my soldering iron heated up. It's just an oldie but goodie soldering iron. This tip nice and pretty. Down at decent temperature there. This is my flux. Use that on everything. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get a good amount of flux. Wrap all that up. Take my XT60. Get some flux on there. And then what I like to do, or what I usually do here, is I've got some flat nose, needle nose pliers. So I like to take that, and depending on what side I'm working on, I'm going to hit this up. Get a nice little solder in there. Good little bit of solder there. Hopefully you guys can see that. I know it's kind of tight there, but I mean, it's just soldering 101, right? So now that I got those pieces in there, all I'm going to do now is obviously make sure I've got the right polarity, and then go ahead. I still got enough flux on there. I'm going to put that on, and then come in here, ever gently start getting that down and in there. Not quite grabbing it like I want it to. Let me get a pair of pliers here. I'll go ahead and tin this side too. Why not? Get a good tin on it. And you can always dunk her back in. A little bit more flux on there. I'm a big fan of the flux. Now we're gonna I don't have a solid connection in there, so what I'm going to do before I get too much farther down the road, I'm going to, just to make sure that this, I'm not overheating it, I'm going to plug it into another XT60 so that I got a good state there. It's actually not a bad solder, considering. Yeah, I might leave that. That actually feels pretty good. It's a good way to hold it. Get a little bit of flux on this guy. Looks like I've got a pretty good bond on there. I can kind of see where I need to what I want to do here. Yeah. That one worth a flip. Get a different angle here. These things have always been a little bit of a pain. Some more flex on it. What I might do is I might hit just to make sure I get it flowing just right. Get a little bit of solder on there. It should grab on pretty good. Yeah, we're good there. Those feel pretty good. Solid in there. Alright, so I got those pieces there. I'm just going to heat up the heat shrink. Good and protected. I'm going to show you guys what I do here with these other pieces. This is going to go to my ESC here. So I need to break out the ESC. In these pads. Alright. It's good and tinned. I'm going to run out of like 225 watts. I'm not trying to overkill anything. I'm going to put my signal wires, and I know that I'm not going to have to go very far with this. So I'm going to take a pretty good amount of this off. Go in. Solder those guys on there. And then before I solder that positive and negative, I'm going to go ahead and start soldering some of the other electrical pieces there. So first thing is going to be the camera. That's going to be using the LC filter. One thing to kind of pay attention to on this is you want to make sure that the flow is going the right way. So what I like to do is I will hang on to these connectors, especially like, so the camera, so these connect into each other, right? So this is going to be your positive and negative. These are great to use as the positive and negative for your camera. So because I don't set everything up that way, what I'm going to do, so I'm going to look at there's usually a directional arrow. Okay, yeah, it says in and out. So in's going to be coming from your battery lead. Out is going to be going to your camera. So what I'm going to do is, because I know where this is at, I'm going to go ahead and cut this about halfway off, and I'm going to connect it to, I'm going to split open these wires, and I'm going to connect them to there. So I'm going to go about halfway. Take these. I'm just going to show you kind of what I do. So then I'm going to take these sections here, and I'm going to strip these back quite a bit. Okay. Then what I'm going to do, I'm going to spin them the opposite way. And because I know, so I'm going to have my camera, my VTX, and my receiver powered off of here. So I'm going to try and split this up into 3 different sections, all about evenly spaced. Okay. Same thing here. Evenly space them out as much as you can. I mean, it's not an exact science, right? I mean, we're not pulling a lot of amps off of this. The amps are going to be pulled off of these guys, so you want to keep those things whole. And I try to make sure that they are good and separate. It's not a huge deal if a negative touches a negative, but the cleaner you can make them, the better off you're going to be. So I'm just taking them and winding them up. Give me a good little area. Alright, so then now I got that. Now what I'm going to do is, obviously I'm going to take a positive and a negative, and I'm going to run it off of here, or that way. Boom, boom. Alright, saving this for my camera. When I plug my camera in, I'll be able to remove and replace my camera by plugging in and plugging that back in. So then I can tin these real fast. Okay, good and tinned. And what I want to do is I'm going to put heat shrink over these. Heat shrink before I put them on. And what I also might do, I'm probably going to grab a little bit of the red and black I had just a second ago. And I'm going to take just good little chunk of both of these. Off. Should have probably done this before I split all these wires up, but try and work that down. I'll make it even smaller. All I'm really looking for is just enough to cover. And hopefully be far enough away to where when I pull it back up, I'll still be able to cover it. Alright. Now I've got my little section still. Having to re-pull a couple of them. Alright. So pretty good. We'll double check and make sure I don't have anything hanging out. I'm going to go ahead and put some flux on these guys. And I've already got some solder on there. I'm only tinning the very, very tip. Okay. So now back to, I'm going to cut a couple pieces to go in here. Just super small, doesn't have to be big. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, a little bit of solder. I've already got the flux on it. I'm going to find me one of these leads here. Oop. Almost forgot to put these on. Little trick that I do is I try to bend that up. I don't know if you can see how I bent that up. But it just kind of helps hold that. I've had them before where they decide to walk on you and come down a little bit. So then I'm just going to take that and make sure we got a good bond there. Find me one here. Pick up a little bit more solder. Make sure I got a good bond there. Feels good and solid. I'm going to run this down. Cover that up. Run this down. Cover that up. So we've got our first piece connected. All I'm doing, I'm just looking at, I can see a couple little frays being here and there. So the next thing I need to do is I need to connect up my receiver. That's a step down for the 5-volt conversion. I like to try to hang on to these baggies as much as I can. We're good for storing stuff afterwards. So taking out my 5-volt step down. This has those connectors on it again. I'm not sure if I'll use these connectors or not. Yeah, I probably won't. What I'm going to do, so I'll just take these off. Again, knowing I don't need a whole lot of room. Take these and save them. Okay. And it'll show, yeah, so this one has the arrow, right? So this is to your battery, and then that's going to give you 5-volt out. So make sure that's connected to your battery. Again, I flex everything. Try to at least. So they're good. So then I'm just going to find, go ahead and cut me another couple little pieces of the heat shrink here. These guys in here. Guys in here. And I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm going to find me another one of these little arms that are off of here, and we're going to solder them on. Make sure I got a good solid connection. Come underneath here. Good solid connection. And now that's on there good. Okay, so last thing to do is I need to hook up the VTX. My trusty VTX here. I ended up using that one. So what's rad about this is I've already got a connector for the battery, or well, I'm not going to end up using that. So what I'm looking at is, sorry, I've got my garage door open, there's some guys working. So that's going to ride in there like that. So if I wanted to, Okay, so yeah, so this is my, cool. So this is my video in, where my 7 to 24, 26 volt in is right here. So I'm going to take this this positive connector right on. I'm going to go ahead and set that up to power my VTX, and then I'm going to depin everything else here other than my video. So that's going to work out nicely. So, get my tweezers. So all I do is I depin. I'll find which one I don't need. And pull her out. One thing I found with this is if you have one of these tabs that are open, push that sucker back down. It's only going to help you in the long run. Now, all those are depinned. I'm going to have to jump the video, so all I'm going to do, leave these wires in, and I'm going to take this video and cut it. So I'm going to have to jump that video to give an extra bit of length. So I mean, you can use some of these. This green wire probably be a pretty good one to use. As a matter of fact, that's just what I'm going to do. I'm going to use this green wire. Yeah, this white wire is just as long. I'm going to go ahead and use this white wire, since it's already off. So that's going to be my video going to my camera, or from my camera. So then I can go ahead and solder this piece on. I like to use a nice silicone shielded wire here. I'm just going to tin these guys. And then I'll put a little heat shrink on it here in a second. So what I do is I'll just hold them about where I need them. I use my fingers to line them up. And I like to use flux right here because it makes it way easier. Put a little flux on them, they'll melt right away, right into each other. You can also kind of hear it. So we got a good bond there. I'm just going to take another little piece of my heat shrink off. Don't need much. Line it up where I need it. My lighter. Heat her up. I'll kind of roll it around, make sure I got a good solid seal on it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on the camera. Then I'm going to find a servo input, which I've got in here, I believe. Yep. I can use this, well, no, I don't like using these. Got a little different setup there. I save all my wires. Just save all those wires. Again, I save all my wires here. All I'm looking for is right there. Good little signal input. It's going to work in there. Put that one back in. And what we're needing from this one is we need a positive and a negative. That's all we need. So what I'm going to do is, again, depin this. So black's always your negative, so I'm just going to depin this signal wire. And I know it's not red. Somebody might jump on me for it not being red, but I'm just going to take that out and slide into the other one. Now I have a way that I can get 5 volt with the white and negative with the black. So then this is going to be my next thing that I'm going to solder to my battery. And this is going to be, well, I'll leave a little bit of extra room on this one. I don't need it super long. But take it a little bit off here. Give me some clean solder on here. Alright. So this is my last piece that's going to go onto my battery lead. And before we plug anything in, we're going to check our voltage. So so then this is going to get connected to my 5 volt, right? So taking my 5 volt, I'm going to have to get a little bit more heat shrink. A little bit warm in here for me. So this is going to power my 5 volt. As you can see, I got my voltmeter sitting there. I'm going to be ready to test that here in just a second. So then I'm going to take my soldering iron, a little bit of solder, hit this guy with some flux. I'm going to do my negative first. Nice bond there. Into my positive. Nice bond there. So now I've got a good bond there. I can go ahead and heat these guys up. Good bond on there. Sure that's good on there. Alright. Push this guy over this. This guy over that. Alright, now what we're going to do is we're going to power my VTX. This is how I power my VTX. So I'm going to take this, clean this up, and then we're going to work on the video camera here. I'll give you guys a pretty good close-up here in just a second of what this is looking like. Got heat shrink. Man, you guys are supposed to be helping me out. Yeah, just getting a little heat shrink to cover these guys up. Alright, let's try that again. Alright, that looks good. That looks good. Good and solid on there. Put that guy down. Push that guy down. So now you can kind of see I've got three leads coming off of here. 3 negatives coming off there. Everything's powered appropriately. So now I'm just going to take and heat all these up. Get them good and hot. Get them tight around there. Alright. So now if you choose to, I mean, you can, come back in if you want to tighten these guys up. Put that little bit of heat shrink on there. It didn't hold very well, so what I might do is I'm probably just going to take some electrical tape, tighten these guys up, wrap it up pretty good so I don't have anything kind of exposed. Taking some basic electrical tape. Find the end here. There it is. Just need a little tiny piece. Just enough to wrap around that to make sure you don't have anything that's going to touch. Good solid bond there. Take another little piece. You obviously don't want to have a short, right? So I got them protected, everything's sitting there, we're good to go. Plenty of flexibility there. We can go ahead and so we can get this ESC on here. I don't like to expose a lot of it. Try to keep this tight as I can. Clean that tip up. Alright, got her tinned. Now I can go ahead and solder onto the ESC. I'm going to go ahead and little flux, little flux, little flux. All I'm going to do, make sure I got a good solid bond there. Good flow on that one. Good flow on that one. Good piece there. Looks pretty good. So then now I'm going to grab the camera, but before we do that, or I'm going to grab the camera and then I'm going to grab battery and we're going to check all the voltage coming out. So you have your video, positive and negative. Remember, I set my clean video up so I can plug that bad boy in with one of these guys. So I can jump over it. Strip these guys off. Try not to forget to get me some heat shrink. Heat shrink. Heat shrink. A little bit of flux. Take the positive and negative for the camera. A little bit of flux. And we're gonna say I just kind of try to line that up close as I can. Solder. Looks pretty good. Good solid bond there. Same thing going to happen here. Good solid bond. Didn't have to overheat it. I'm going to take my heat shrink. Make sure I cover up what I need to cover up. Shrink her down. Make sure I got a good bond on her. And this is just basic setup, guys. I mean, this is cheap, easy, fast, whatever you want to call it. There's not a lot to what I just did. What up, Wee?
What up?
Did you just join?
Yep.
Alright. Yeah, I just got done. I'm pretty much done wiring. I'm going to test everything out. And then my video wire. Remember I did my video here? I'm going to need a little piece of black heat shrink for that. Just about done. I'm going to test all the voltage out. And then we're going to start laying everything out and putting it actually into the wing. I did something cool. I hopefully you'll get a kick out of it.
What's that?
Well, on the way that I did, I've got a lot of this stuff set up as plugs because I had a bunch of these. I don't even know what kind of plugs they call them, but I made some little covers for the extra space. And I know you haven't built one of these yet here in a while, or haven't. I mean, you built that one and then all that, but I made some cool little covers that hopefully will clean it up just a little bit. I'll show you here. Just a hot second. I got good bond on the video. Oops. I'm going to hit my heat shrink up. Line it up where it's at. My crack lighter. And so check this out, So I made these little, you can see them here, but these are like little hideaways, little cavities.
Yeah.
So I can cover that up, and then I'm going to put a piece of tape, a clear tape across there. So not only is it going to strengthen with this vertical piece here on that nose, it's going to give us something to bite into, but it's also going to protect whatever I've got up underneath there.
Oh.
So.
What are you saying, your ESC and stuff under there?
No, my ESC and my VTX is going to be exposed for cooling purposes. But everything else, I'm going to try to hide it in there. So you've got like your LC filter, your back, and all that stuff. I can kind of hide that up underneath that.
And that'd be good for your CG, since you're putting weight up further up.
Yeah, hopefully that's the plan. All right, so I'm going to power this up and then check my voltage. So turn her on. Hopefully no black smoke. Good to go. Everything seems to be working properly. So let's check some voltages out. Trying to make sure I ain't got anything touching. Coming off of here. Gotta hold it still. 16.7. Seems legit. So my video camera, because I ran it this way, I'll be able to get my voltage out of it if I choose to get OSD on it. So I'm just running an LC filter.
Oh, using that the Predator?
Yeah, I'm using the Predator. Camera. Yep, 17 volts. I think I'm pretty good there. And then that's going to plug directly into the camera into the VTX. Make sure I'm running 5 volt out here, going to the receiver. Remember, I use my white wire as my positive. So 5 volts on the money. Look at that sucker, dude. 4.99 off that back. And that should be it. There, camera. I didn't check the camera. The VTX. VTX should be straight power. So let me, since I'm double checking everything, might as well double check everything right.
You do the smart thing. I don't check anything.
17.17.
I plug it in. Hey, look, no smoke.
Yeah, I don't know. Just double check. Try to help everybody out. So yeah, everything checked out. All the voltages checked out.
Everything.
So now we're
Don't follow my lead.
Yeah, don't follow Wee's lead. So I'm going to, well, we should be able to get some power now, so I'll check a couple of things out. Throw a little antenna on this bad boy, clean up just a little bit. I'm gonna plug this guy. So on your receiver, you've got some labels, so make sure you're setting that up the right way. So that should power my receiver up. Let me get an antenna. So if we did everything right, I should get power to all of this stuff. Again, this is just basic setup. The motor I'll wire up here in just a second. Camera, I got the camera off, I can go ahead and do that. We can check video, I'll get my monitor up. Kind of like I got a lot of connections this time, so I'm kind of digging that. Alright. See if I can find my... Alright, well, you're going to have to entertain him for a minute. I got to find my, my watch. Ugh. Can't seem to find my watch, so I'm going to go ahead and use my goggles here. I'm going to plug my... Well, no, I'm going to need to solder here in a second. Did you get any flying in today?
Do what?
Did you get any flying in?
Yeah, I flew my micro race for a couple of batteries.
Nice.
Waiting for my Banshee to come in on Saturday.
Oh boy.
Start building again.
Oh boy. So I'm just going to have to... check it out here. Alright, so everything should be wired up. Just doing another little once over. So I should have my VTX come on, my receiver come on, camera's recording. Yeah, let's plug her in and see what we got. I see lights. I see lights. What am I? What channel am I on? I just put it to whatever channel I'm on in there. F4. So 4. F. Put it at 200 milliwatts. Whoops. Getting signal. See if I got camera. I'm looking at my nuts. Good to go. So there she is. We're all wired up. We'll bind it to the receiver, plug the motor in. Oh, I got to solder the motor real fast. I'll do that real quick. We'll mount the motor. Then we'll start looking. I'm going to clean this up just a little bit and then get going. So I'm going to clean up. You guys can hang out with me for a second. And then I'm going to start placing and doing a couple cutting pieces on the quad, and the wing, and we're just about done. I appreciate you guys staying with me. I know these things have been a little bit long. Hopefully you guys just kind of scrubbed through them. We appreciate you jumping on, Andre, Sean, Trey, all the people that have kind of jumped on and had their 2 cents. See how this all lays out. See if there's any kind of changes I need to do. Clean this up some. That's good heat shrink. We didn't have any smoke, so I might be grabbing me an ice cold beverage.
Did I give you a heat sink for that VTX?
No, but it'll be exposed, so I'll be able to jack with it whatever we need to. I think I'm going to go ahead and put these motors on, or these solder this ESC together, since I got the heat going. And we'll check the direction here in a second. I don't like super long connections, so I'm going to snip these down just a little bit. Yeah, if you've got an extra one, I'll take it for sure.
Yeah, I got some.
All right, cool.
I got some bullet connectors too. Are you direct soldering?
What's that?
Are you direct soldering, or are you putting bullets on there?
I'm direct soldering it. Just a quad motor.
Looks like Dave is on.
Dave is on?
But I see the ground on his picture.
What up, Dave? Oh, look at him. You sneaky bastard.
That sorry bastard.
Yep, he got us. Got him.
I'm doing homework. It's the summertime. I'm not even wearing pants. That's the story of Dave's life, homework.
Yeah, poor guy.
That's miserable.
His super career college classes he decided to take this semester.
Everybody's dropping, which makes it worse for me. I gotta respond more.
Oh man, that would give you more persistence. Like, man, these guys can't handle it. I got it. I'm gonna have to show them how to do it.
Hey, I did a thing the other day, and now I want to sell like stuff paid for it.
What'd you do?
I bought that My Twin Dream. I've always wanted one. I mean, it's like absolutely like something I've been saying it for probably 8 or 9 months. It's on my short list, but you know, people that have those don't normally sell them. They don't ever put them up for sale.
Yeah.
And I found one that was put up for sale, was highly modified, and actually has all that MFD link stuff on it.
Oh, nice.
I've never done that stuff before.
I'm just putting a little twist in it to keep it together. And my motor mount.
Okay, so I'll jump back on a little bit. I'm gonna finish up my my posts and just want to see if it works.
All right, man.
All right, we'll see you guys in a little bit.
Yep.
Later.
I'm just checking these out. Got these 3D printed from Chris. Seeing what the
I'll
length.
do a close up of it. I haven't seen those.
Yeah.
Ah, they're nice.
Yeah, I mean, they're pretty sturdy. Got the braces in the right spot. So one thing I'm looking at when I'm building it, this is just like quads, man. I mean, you don't want to have a lot of thread sticking out going into your motor. You just want to have enough to grab the belt or the housing. So you can see there, got just enough hanging out there. And the way that you want to do these is so that the wires come out towards the top. Just lining. I put these in the wrong spot. Yeah. Put those on there. Yeah, I got her mounted on, coming out the side, which will be good for my application because my ESC I want to kind of run off the side anyway. Yeah, let me finish putting a little bit of this stuff away, cleaning up a little bit here, hanging on to these plugs. So everything's pretty modular, so I can disconnect a lot of these and kind of keep them separate. This I'm going to have to feed through the hole anyway. Let's stay there. There we go. So yeah, I mean, it's just got, you got all your connections coming off of there. Good to go. Like I said, I'm just kind of cleaning up a little bit. I'm gonna make sure I grab me a celebratory gear here in a minute. Oh yeah, a little daily drinker. Oh, that's tasty. Sorry for the commentary. One thing I like to watch out for, I unplugged that soldering iron, but make sure that soldering iron is away from the foam because it will melt it like a son of a gun. No joke, no lie. I don't know if you've melted a wing or anything, but these things will cook them quick.
No wing yet. Thank goodness.
Alright, so she's kind of out of the way here. So there she is. And I mean, the obvious motor's going to go on here. So the ESC, I think I'm going to run it somewhere in that area. And so my idea was to have the receiver in this cubby, somewhere in that area. So we can run just working it back into the little holes that I made. See, where's my... Oh, hello. Put my VTX connector through here. I was wondering why it was a little bit tight. That's not the right one I wanted to have in there. Just wonder where that thing went. This is the one for the camera. What I'm going to do, I'm going to twist some of these wires and get them a little bit more organized, but just want to start getting some things laid out here. So like this for the receiver. You know, I can take that and twist that pretty good. Clean it up a little bit. So you got that good tight. And the VTX is going to go over here. Gonna hot glue that guy onto there. VTX over here. Pull these up. Now I can start kind of wiring everything in. So now your motor here goes into channel 1. So make sure you look at it. For channel 1, you want to have it wired properly. Signal to ground. My 5-volt back. And kind of keep these on the same side here. 5-volt back goes into this and is positive and negative. So negative goes here. Just double checking that I have them in the right polarity. When you're plugging these things in, it's just vital that they are on the right side for everything. Just looking at them, signal, negative ground, positive, negative. And since I got quite a bit of extra, well, this isn't going to be too bad. So channel 2, I'm going to come underneath all of this. I'm going to use this as channel 2. So brown is or yellow is your signal. So positive, negative, brown is your ground. What's going on to there? And this side is definitely going to be really, really long. So make a little short loop. Try and tie them up a little bit. Now this one, same thing, signal on the outside. Okay, so those all get connected. Oh, my back. So I'm going to take a peek kind of what I'm looking at. All that stuff gets tucked underneath there. Change this around. Just looking to see how this is all going to lay out. A little bit sloppy there, but we can work with it. A little bit of that in. So when I tape it on, it's going to be covered there. A little bit exposed. Should still be alright to put my battery in here. Should be fine. And kind of start looking a little bit at CG and see what she's looking like. And pop.
Oh, ninja reflexes right there.
What's that? Oh yeah, you saw that?
Yeah.
So I'm going to look kind of at, see where my CG's at. So it's pretty far back. Yeah, I'm going to have to add some major weight to the nose. Right there is about where my CG is. I'm about a ½ inch back, and got more weight on that side. So when I add weight, I'm going to add weight to this side and to the front to get it pretty close. So what I might do is grab a little bit of weight. This isn't exactly working the way that I wanted it to, but it's pretty damn close. Pretty confident I can make that wedge in there fairly nicely. Does this thing reach? Yeah, right there. So I'm going to add some weights underneath this bay. There's about an ounce. I'm going to play around with it a little bit. Still a little bit back. More even side to side though. So that got me about halfway where I need to do. So I probably need to add another ounce. And what I'll do is I'll end up adding that to the nose. So I get it centered there. But balance wise, that feels pretty good. So I guess now just let's hot glue some pieces in. Maybe tuck a couple wires, see what we can come up with, and see if we can get something happening here. So I'm gonna get my hot glue gun and get it heated up. Usually what I like to do is I usually go in underneath the laminate, but I think I'm not going to do that this time. I'm going to go right over the top. And this is just going to have to, that's going to go there. No ifs, ands, buts, questions about it. So then they heat up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of eyeball what I want to do here. I just want to drop straight down into that and then hot glue it in. So I think I'm going to do, I'm just going to heat this up. Poke me a good little hole there. Now all I want is it big enough for this base to go into. What I'll do is I'll put a little slit off the side there. Let that wire kind of go. Listen, and you can get creative as you want with this stuff, guys. That's about where I want that guy to go. I'll show you kind of what I do with the yeah. That'll dictate this guy going somewhere right in there. Make sure that this will still reach. I've got plenty of room on that. Alright, so I'm going to fill this void up with hot glue. Go in. And my holder right there. Seems good and solid. Let it dry. Good kickoff there. Cool thing with this VTX is it's got a flat bottom. So I'll put some just gonna lean that over. Let it sit where she sits. What I'm gonna do is just kind of tap those edges there. Let her dry. And they're good. Same thing with the ESC. Trying to give it, I don't want to give it too much pressure. Just put it where she needs to be. Let her dry in there. Seems pretty solid. I know that I'm going to put these guys into here. So what I'm going to do is probably hot glue them in. So they're not rattling around or anything. And these weights, I mean, you can get them just about anywhere. That's going to go in there. That piece will get taped on over that. One thing I think I am going to do is run my RunCam 2 on here. So I'm going to probably run my RunCam 2 onto here. So I wonder what that CG is going to feel like. Might need to take a little bit of that others off. Oh man. That's pretty damn solid right there. That's pretty centered, man. I'm right on that deal. So I know how much this weighs. This weighs 70 grams. So I can kind of counter that with about I think it's about 2 grams. I'm sorry, 2 ounces. So everything's pretty set up. We can probably go ahead and bind the receiver and kind of get that motion going. So again, with that battery up there, I mean, I'm pretty tail heavy. Pretty tail heavy. So I definitely need to add some weight to the front. So I'm going to see what... I just kind of like that being a little bit more locked in there. This is kind of secured. We're going to put some tape over the top of this and kind of block that in so it's kind of good and snug in there. 1500 battery. I should get 5 to 7 minutes of fly time out of it. I think I've got everything kind of wired in I need to, so I'm going to unplug that. I'm going to grab my radio. Because I'm using an X4R, we're going to go ahead and set up a brand new model here. So I'm going to delete this one. Okay. Create a model. So here we go. I'm going to go over to wing. Has your model got an engine? Yes. Good night, buddy. Yes. Channel 1 assignment. That's where I've got it on my receiver. We're good to go there. Yes. Channel 1. Yes. Channel 1. Okay, page will get you to the next one. 2 channels. Channel 3 I've got set up there. Channel 2 I've got set up over here. So we're good there. Page. Has the model got a rudder? No. Page. Ready to go. Enter long to confirm. It's set up. It's there. So now I'm going to go to page. I'm going to go ahead and name this probably 30-inch or 30 mini Z. And there's a bunch of videos on how to do all this stuff. I'm just naming it. Maybe I'll just do 30-inch mini. We'll go ahead and put Z in there. All right. I usually have my timer on. I'll put it at 6 minutes. I'll put it at 5 minutes. Whoops. You can do the model image. You know, I don't do all that. Timer, persistence off. Minute countdown. Countdown, beeps, voice. Throttle S, throttle percentage. So throttle T, I think, is what I want to have it on. We can check all that. We can back out. So that's not right. Menu, page. I think it's throttle S. Let's reset timer 1. There he goes. Yeah, it works off my throttle. When I have my throttle up, the timer goes off. So then menu, page, and this one. So I got that